but I could probably say it was the Spirit of God that led me to it. Just a little backstory. I've only been in church about 18 years. And I came with my parents, which I had to, or, I probably wouldn't be living today. I've been in church 18 years. It was a hard, weird story. First time I ever heard about Christ or heard about God was in a harvest carnival when I was about 8. And I didn't really know what was going on. I just knew that there was a group of kids, towards the end of this harvest carnival. And they were all crying, and they were all, sobbing and doing all these, weird things that I didn't know what was going on. And somebody asked me, they said, you want to accept Christ? And, I just said, okay. I didn't know what it was all about, And, we went in the back, prayed, and I was told I was saved. But I had no idea what salvation was. And then, later on down the years, we started going to church. My little cousin died, my little cousin Alex. And we had family in church, and they invited us to church. And I didn't, I still didn't know what church was about. And, we started going on a regular basis. And I just, it became routine. It was just something that we did to go on Sundays and Wednesdays and whatever. We're a part of the church. My parents were really involved. My mom, my dad, got involved. And, so we had to come. And, I still didn't know what salvation was. And probably, down the road I was getting knowledge about Christ and knowledge about God, but not following through, not reaping fruit, and not really knowing who Christ was or who God was. I heard about him, but I couldn't tell you why, who he was, who he was in my life. And, I got part of, I got in the youth group, and, I still didn't know who God was. And I remember 2000, Y2K comes around. And, and I'm standing there in the midst of all these people. We've heard about Y2K. This is going to happen. The world's going to end. I'm sitting there crying my eyes out, asking God to not leave me behind. And I thought that was salvation. I thought, me asking God to save me was salvation. And, later down the road, I thought, I wanted to be, live the righteous life. I wanted to do what God wanted me to do. But I'd never follow through. I ended up still doing the things I think, that the world was doing, but the church was telling me I shouldn't do. Drinking, smoking, lusting after girls. This is a part of my daily life as a teenager. I was in the youth group and doing all these things. Sad thing is, the youth group didn't help me out. I was part of the world in the youth group. And, that was a sad, sad thing. Later down the road, I still wanted to, know what salvation was, but I wasn't following through with it in my life. Probably about a year and a half ago. I was I was hearing all these things like, you hear the new president coming, he's making, rash decisions, giving money out. You hear about the world's going to end. You hear the Harold campaign's going to predict the world's going to end in 2011. All these things are running through my mind. And then I make a decision. I say, God, I'm driving in my car, going from work to home. And I'm like, is this true? Is this what you want? Do you want me to be a part of you? And probably weeks later, I didn't do much. I just kind of went on with life and continued. Then I had a buddy at work ask me to go to a Bible study. And this Bible study, was, I went into it and I made a decision that I was going to follow God, in this Bible study. I was going to try to learn about him, and I was going to, do the life thing, do the born again thing. You know, and I still didn't know. I still didn't know what salvation was. And I continued on, and then probably months later, while I was doing this Bible study with a group of friends from work, you know, I just started reading my Bible. And the only reason I read my Bible is because I wanted to know more about God. I wanted to know who He was and what He was about. And that right there is when my life started to change. It wasn't because I prayed a prayer. It was because I was having a relationship with God. And when I was, you know, I had started having a relationship with God, and when I felt like I was saved. How can you have a relationship with somebody if you don't even know anything about them? You know, Scripture says truth and spirit and in truth. The only thing truth in this world, we as Christians and what we believe, is the Bible. And I was reading it. I know, you know, from going to church when I was 10 years old till a year and a half ago, I never read my Bible. I tried to, but it just never clicked to me. And that's the story of my life. 18 years I was in church and knew God not one bit. I could say I knew Him, but I didn't know Him in the born again sense. You know, I didn't think I was saved. I could have told you I was, but I just deep down in my heart I wasn't. So, you know, just, that was, you know, in a nutshell, that was my spiritual life in church. You know, I went through church for 18 years and not knowing who God was. And, you know, for anybody out there that says that they're a Christian, you ain't a Christian until you start having a relationship with God. And, you know, John 3:3, no one can come to the Father, or no one can come to me unless he be born again. You know, all these scriptures ring true. You know, I mean, it's just, it's in there. From Genesis to Revelations, it's all in there. And that's my encouragement to any youth, to anybody that's wanting to be of the faith and wants to follow God, is it's in the Bible, it's there. I didn't know God until I started reading the Bible. And, you know, you got Harold Camping preaching all these things. But we wouldn't know, you know, we could say, you know, this guy, you know, Dave, I talk to Dave once in a while. You know, if I didn't know what the Bible was, I would just believe Dave because I wanted to believe Dave. You know, look at it for yourself. That's where you have a relationship with God. Is look at it for yourself. I mean, Timothy talks about it, or Paul talks to Timothy about it. You know, it's in there. I didn't know it until I started reading. So, yeah, my prayer to you guys is if you guys are looking for God, it's in the book. All right, that's it.